Together, these three men didn't just run a drug business, they owned the entire system. They bought protection from the highest officials, local police, military commanders, governors, judges, and even Mexico's most feared intelligence agency, the DFS. The DFS, which was supposed to be fighting crime, had basically become the cartel's private army, protecting their operations, eliminating rivals, and silencing anyone who dared to stand in their way. In Kiki's new world, a police badge could mean a cop, or it could mean a cartel killer. The line between law and crime had vanished. It was a narco-state. Kiki, with his unwavering idealism, quickly realized that small-time busts would change nothing. Catching street dealers was like scooping water out of an ocean. Kiki wanted to cut the head off the snake. He wanted to bring down Felix Gallardo and his entire dark kingdom. For 4.5 stressful years, Kiki worked tirelessly and carefully. He went undercover, building a network of informants in a sea of massive corruption. He patiently gathered the pieces of a much larger puzzle. Every day was a gamble with his life. He collected intel on the cartel's complex structure, their smuggling routes, their money laundering methods, and most importantly, he quietly identified the long list of corrupt officials on the cartel's payroll. He realized this wasn't just a smuggling operation, it was a shadow government. And then, in 1984, Kiki's persistence led to the biggest break of his career. Through a brave informant and aerial surveillance photos, he found the crown jewel of Caro Quintero's empire, Rancho Buffalo. This wasn't just a farm, it was a massive industrial complex, a plantation city covering thousands of acres and employing over 10,000 poor farmers. It was a self-contained world with its own housing, stores, and even a church, all powered by a state-of-the-art irrigation system. Its annual production was estimated at $8 billion, an insane amount of money at the time. It was the lifeblood and the pride of the Guadalajara cartel, and Kiki is the one who put it on the map. In November 1984, facing unstoppable pressure from the US and Kiki's undeniable intel, the Mexican government was forced to act. 450 Mexican soldiers, backed by DEA helicopters, finally raided Rancho Buffalo. They didn't make arrests, instead they set it all on fire. The sky over the desert turned black with smoke from billions of dollars of marijuana. It was a massive financial loss, but more importantly, it was a deep personal humiliation for the cartel bosses. They swore revenge, and they knew exactly who to blame. That persistent DEA agent, Enrique Kiki Camarena. Kiki was supposed to be safe. He was scheduled to be transferred back to the US in just 3 weeks. He had already started packing, dreaming of being reunited with his family, but fate had other plans. On February 7, 1985, around 2 p.m., Kiki left the U.S. consulate in Guadalajara. He was walking a few blocks to meet his wife Mika for lunch. He never made it. A car suddenly pulled up beside him. 5 men jumped out. Shockingly, one of the kidnappers was a commander of the Jalisco State Police, working directly for the cartel. In broad daylight on a busy street, a U.S. federal agent was kidnapped and thrown into a car. Kiki was taken to a luxury house at 881 Lope de Vega Street. It was owned by Rafael Caro Quintero. There, for the next 30+ hours, he endured a living hell. This was not a quick revenge killing, it was a brutal, systematic interrogation designed to extract every piece of information from his body. Kiki was tortured inhumanely. His cheekbones, jaw, and nose were broken. A drill was used to bore a hole into his skull. His ribs were shattered one by one. To make sure he stayed conscious through the unimaginable pain, a doctor, Humberto Alvarez Machain, was hired. His only job was to inject Kiki with stimulants like amphetamines to keep his heart going just so the torture could continue. This entire horrifying process, every groan and every question, was recorded on audio tapes. Kiki's pained voice became an eternal testament to their cruelty, and to a much bigger mystery. But the most disturbing part wasn't just the torture, it was the questions the torturers kept asking. They didn't just ask about his DEA operations or his informants, they wanted to know more. They repeatedly asked, "Who are your informants in the Mexican government?" And most chillingly, a question far outside the scope of a normal drug case. "What do you know about our relationship with the United States? What do you know about CIA operations?"